everyone, and welcome to another episode of Disqualified. I am Trevin, joined as always by Caleb.
Hola!
And Zach, as always, is behind the camera. And we also got an editor-in-chief, Garden, behind the camera.
We are here to talk about NXT.
Honestly, a lot of stuff happened. Matches were expected. All of them involved a title, actually, and a lot of the promo work actually let us know the future of this roster. Because a lot of things are changing in this roster.
Yeah, they're very much hinting at call-ups are happening very, very soon.
Yep. But we open with someone who's not officially on the NXT roster, but is here because of a little partnership. Say his name, and he appears. It's none other than Joe Hendry.
Joe Hendry is here, and he is here to reiterate his challenge to Oba.
Yep.
He talks about what happened last week.
Yep. About, he got a little carried away, got a little upset at Trick, but Trick crossed the line when he attacked him Sunday at TNA's Rebellion and laid him out. He reminded the audience that the social media stuff you have seen is true. He does have something torn in his shoulder. Mm-hmm. And you see him in the physical therapy room later after the group, none other as Dark State, attacked him at the end of his promo, basically continuing to cause chaos like they promised.
Yeah, Joe calls out Trick, which then leads to Dark State attacking. I thought that was very interesting.
He ain't the leader.
Hey, I'm just saying. When we get to Trick's promo, we will see why I'm saying I'm just saying. But we get our first match of the evening, and it is a title match.
Yep, it is your men's North American Championship match with the challenger, who recently lost his Heritage Cup, which shocked that this challenge got kept up with him as the opponent, Lexis Keane versus your champion, Ricky Saints.
And this was a pretty decent match.
Yes. It was honestly very surprising how much both of these men pulled out, because Lexis, we've seen some stuff from him. He's been in the picture a lot recently, but he pulled some decent stuff out of his bag, was sort of the main offense for the first half. And then Ricky got some fighting spirit in him left. It became a counter fest the last segment, but Ricky was able to hit that Rochambeau for the 1, 2, 3, and still.
It was, like I said, a decent match. I really wasn't interested.
Yeah.
I was playing Expedition 33.
Good game.
Good game.
But now we get a marathon of promos after this match. First on the docket of the promo marathon, we get a little vignette from none other than the Cult of the Calling.
We get Sean Spears pretty much saying, look, we all want opportunities, but you've all squandered your opportunities. He said, Brooks and Nico, you lost in the tag team gauntlet. Izzy, you were literally fingertips away from the title and you lost it.
Yes, but he does the classic cult leader thing of admits that even he fumbles sometimes, but with his stern leadership, the opportunities will come, even if that means taking out someone who has those opportunities.
And that's the end of this segment. Now moving on to everybody's favorite mob drama.
This has been some of my favorite segments these past couple weeks. We're, of course, talking about the Don, Tony D'Angelo, coming out with his security detail and basically saying, Stacks, you want to fight? Come on out. The family's in disarray. Let's settle this mano a mano.
Yeah, and then we get Stacks, not via satellite, but via just
video chat,
I guess.
Yeah.
He FaceTimed and
he brought his own security detail of actual factual NXT security, not the family security detail. And he basically says, look, you've gone soft, Tony. You know, you've had all these opportunities, you've had all these calls, and you asked me to take the more aggressive route. And then all of a sudden, when I finally start doing that, you tell me I'm wrong? Listen, I'm going to say what everyone else is afraid to say to you. You've gone soft, and we're sick of you.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that I'm not the only one who thinks this. Do you know everyone you can trust? And then the NXT security detail starts attacking Tony. They ambush him.
And then the other side of the ring, the security detail just watches.
Yep.
Literally, one dude's like this, and he just goes, like, what's going on?
Yep.
It's your job. Stop them. What are we doing?
But Tony, being the Don himself, lays out the security detail and basically just stares in the eyes of the Videotron of Stax, just establishing that he wants that squabble, whether Stax likes it or not.
As one family falls apart, so does another.
We received the sad news after Meta-4 celebrates that Star re-won the Heritage Cup that they are moving on from being a faction to being 4 solo stars.
I'm interested in seeing where this goes. I do think it's a bold idea because you had a ready-made tag team in the Meta Girls.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're going to be singles competitors, and the perception I get is that Lash is, I don't want to make it sound like Jakara is not well received backstage, but it seems like Lash is set for more opportunities, bigger opportunities. Like she could be a sacred call-up.
Aura's one of the NXT reps on Evolve.
Yep, and Dar has the cup now.
Yep.
And I'm just wondering, where does this leave Jakara? I hope that she just slots herself right in to the North American Women's Championship spot.
Or hey, maybe another secret call-up and just the Meta Girls get drafted to the on opposite main roster brands.
It's going to be interesting seeing where it goes. I was really hoping that we'd get at least one last entrance with the Meta-4.
Yeah, they did end the segment with doing their 5, 6, 7, 8 as they say goodbyes, and Dar is sitting there with his last friend in this group, the Heritage Cup.
And then he says, well, it's just you and me again. And yeah, just like, what are they doing? Why are they getting rid of so many groups?
This episode signaled like, oh, this roster is changing.
Yeah, it is a changing. Change is coming and it's inevitable. But one thing that will not be changing tonight in this next match is the Women's North American Champion.
Yep, as in a non-title match, just looking for a potential shot at it, scheduled with the help of, why am I blanking on his name?
Ashante the Adonis.
Ashante the Adonis, we have your North American Women's Champion Sol Ruka versus Ashante the Adonis's girl, Carmen Petrovich. And this match was actually pretty fun to watch. As my co-host knows, and as some of you may know, I studied karate when I was younger and continue to practice in home. And just seeing Carmen pull out some stuff is like, oh, clean.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she is a very, very good striker. So, like, one of the best strikers in the business.
Yes.
Or at least in WWE. But yeah, Soul does pick up the win.
Yep.
By snatching that Soul.
Yep. And commentary was staying poking at what social media is asking of, is Zarya okay with this all one part of the tag team holding all the gold?
You know, while we have questions about one relationship, we see another relationship end in tatters as Carmen pushes Ashante down to the mat.
Yep.
Basically breaking up with him.
It was fun while it lasted, but even while it lasted, it was eh. A lot of people were focusing a lot more on Carmen, and I think due to how much this roster is changing, Ashante probably gets back to in-ring action instead of being Carmen's manager.
Slot in into the Cup or the
Yep.
mid card.
I almost spoiled what we get announced next as Trick Williams comes out, celebrates that he laid out the crowd favorite Joe Hendry on his own show and says, like, I'm the top dog here. And after Sunday, no one's talking about any TNA star about Rebellion. They're talking about me. I'm the biggest star there too.
He also does come out and he starts to say, look, Joe, you've been calling my name all night, but I've been calling you, so where are you at?
Yep.
Where are you at, Joe? Where are you at, Joe?
Yep.
And it's just so funny. Joe mentions Trick, Dark State attacks, and the first thing he mentions when he comes out is that Joe got laid out by Dark State. Just saying. Just saying.
I'm all for long-term storytelling, but this is too long.
What do you mean? Some stories go on for a whole year. Cena Rock 2 was a whole year-long build. Pretty much Cody Roman 2 was a 2-year build.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, especially with the prospect of Trick getting called up, I feel like if they were to reveal him as the leader, they would have done it by now. Because if the call-up is being threatened, you want to announce that he's the leader ASAP. Like, I would have announced it at the end of the triple threat. Not the very last NXT PLE before the draft starts, which is Battleground.
We don't know when the draft starts. That's the thing. They said it's happening after Mania.
Yeah, and we assume it's starting after Backlash.
I would assume so,
Yeah.
but nothing has been specified.
Nope. But this causes your NXT GM, Ava, to come out and basically saying, like, Trick, you're getting a little ahead of yourself. You're getting a little big over your head. You want that opportunity? Well, you're going to need to take exactly 25 steps back. As next week, there shall be a number one contendership 25-man battle royale to see who Oba's opponent is going to be at Battleground.
Mm-hmm.
And in a couple promos we see later tonight, it is confirmed that the 25 men will include NXT stars, TNA stars, Evolve stars, and some of the contestants you saw on LFG.
And we do get to meet 3 of these gentlemen from LFG when Oba gets interviewed backstage.
Yep.
And Undertaker comes out and he tells them, look, this is your yard.
I told you to protect it.
And I just wanted to let you know that this is still your yard. For now. Because I have some boys at LFG that are looking to make a wave. And they appear on screen. It is Shiloh Hill. And I am forgetting the 2 other gentlemen's names. I apologize.
Yes. We haven't fully caught LFG.
No, I have not actually caught LFG.
Yeah. I've seen clips on TikTok and have seen some episode clips through coming across them on YouTube, but I have not yet watched a full episode. So I know some people and I know some of the big names from LFG, just not all the names.
Yeah, but there is one person that I saw that caught my eye in the lineup, and that is former NXT superstar Timothy Thatcher making his return, because I believe he's in TNA currently. So, hey, you found your way back.
Yep. And in the segment that confirmed that these 4 brands are being repped in the Battle Royale, another person confirmed to be in the Battle Royale is
Brad Baylor and his teammate are going to be in the Battle Royale.
Not Tavion, the other member of NQCC. Why can't I forget it? Why am I?
Charlie Dempsey. All members are in NQCC.
No, the deaf one.
Miles Bourne.
Miles Bourne, yes. He's the one who initiated that, because Charlie, being off of TV, has not given NQCC any orders, so they're just sitting idly by. But Miles was like, you know what? Charlie wants us to make our own decisions. I'm going to go get an opportunity. Davion, I encourage you to join me. But I'm going to go talk to Ava right now. I'll let you know what she says.
Apt statement. Future notice. You could have just said young Randy Orton. And I would have got it. But no, apt statement. It is true. But yeah, I think it makes what he does more impressive because not being able to really hear spots being called is hard.
Yes.
But yeah, so also 2 more men that will be in the Battle Royale are in action next. And what are those 2 men, Trevin June?
It is your NXT Tag Championship match. Hank and Tank, your champions, versus Josh Briggs and going back to Noah. Last match right now, Yoshiki and Yamura.
Which doesn't make sense because these are next week's Battle Royale. I told you, it was just an old trick. I don't think he's going back. I don't think he's going back yet.
Yeah.
I think he's going back, but I don't think he's going back yet. Mainly because I feel like they're doing talent exchange for Omos, and since they're not really doing anything with Omos, I feel like Omos might be going back. Don't know.
Yes. But this match, cooked.
Honk and tonk.
I make one spelling error.
Them boys. Hey, they're proving me wrong every step of the way. They're, as good in ring as ever. I just don't think it's going to have legs going far.
Yeah, the gimmick you think doesn't have legs, but their in-ring action do.
Oh, them as a team works. I just think they might need a slight rebrand.
Yeah.
I mean, keep their names. Just try to get away from the trucker gimmick and aesthetic. But, I mean, they were wearing their usual jerseys, their usual jean shorts, like bright orange elbow pads, knee pads, and boots. They came
to squabble.
Yeah, and squabble they did. Josh and Inuyamura put up a valiant effort.
It was a back and forth all match long. Like when you thought one team had the advantage, the other team got it. When they thought they finally clinched it, the other team came back and stole it back.
I glanced away from my screen for 1 second. Out the corner of my eye, just saw Yoshiki bah, 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 bah.
Doing the sumo slaps.
And I said, okay. I'll look back.
Would you take those?
No. Because those are probably hard style. I ain't taking that.
Yeah. Sadly, the result you all saw coming, hitting their tag finisher for the 1, 2, 3. Hank and Tank retain.
Hey, good match. I think this is gonna go places. The places I think it's gonna go are, set in stone right after this match, because we see in the trainer room after a promo segment that we'll get to, but it goes with the last thing, so we'll just put it there. So we see Joe Hendry in the trainer room. And we see Hank and Tank walk in. And they're like, look, if you want revenge against Darkseid, just say honk honk and we'll be there.
Yep. Joe first goes to shakes his hand, but his injury's not letting him lift it that high. So instead, he switches to the other arm and honks.
And we get for next week, literally, unfortunately, the first time I am not interested in the slightest in a Darkseid match. We have Joe Hendry and Hank and Tank versus Darkseid. I see this potentially leading to Darkseid taking the tag titles.
Yeah. I had a feeling Hank and Tank's was going to be transitional, especially with the social media talk powerhouse that is Darkseid at this moment. Like, Hank and Tank is fun. I do see them as transitional a little bit, especially with Darkseid looming over the circuit's shoulders.
I don't know. Maybe they said they're tired of waiting for opportunities, but they're still, sitting around waiting for opportunities. Yeah. I think what a way to just cut the line, get the tag title shot, give it to two of the members, and then you have your opportunities, right?
And now, for your main event of the night.
It sees Io Sky returning to NXT,
Your Women's World Champion,
and her teammate, Jordan Grace.
the Juggernaut.
They're taking on Roxanne and Julia.
Mm-hmm.
So, we were right about the tag match happening, but,
Ron homies.
why was Io here and Rhea not? Why didn't they just do the tag match on NXT with Rhea? I mean, I'm glad to see Jordan Grace on my screen.
Because apparently a thing in NXT is that you tag once and you already get tag moves. Like, I get Io is much smaller than Jordan, but Jordan and Io, the tag moves you were pulling out of just Jordan chucking Io is like, why these people already got tag moves?
They come preset with the tag team. When they get together, they just like absorb them in their moveset.
Like Marvel Rivals.
Yeah. Yeah, they get their special team ups.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, a big person with a much tinier person.
So, fastball special. Legitimately. Any cruiserweight with any powerhouse, fastball special.
Woo! Wee! Yes, but this match was a lot of fun to watch, honestly.
Watching this match was like watching a barbarian throw around a goblin. And now, Trevin, where would we possibly see that happen?
You could possibly see that, probably not a goblin, but the occasional kobold being chucked by Zach's character, our Furbolg Barbarian, on the podcast Throes of Chaos, our TTRPG actual play podcast, linked down in this video and also on this YouTube page's bio. I, of course, am the DM over there, and I'm having a lot of fun trying to control the chaos that are these idiots.
Not happening. But now, back to our regularly scheduled program.
What's Roxanne doing? What's her D&D gimmick?
Yes, so Roxanne and Julia, speaking of Roxanne and Julia, we did get a little backstage promo about why they're teaming up. And it's basically Julia being like, you know what you said when I first joined the roster was kind of true. I need to take the opportunities I can, even if that means becoming a bad guy.
That's
it.
That's the basis of this whole thing was Roxanne saying, you're pretty good. And then Julia saying, you were right. What? About? Huh?
What about the past 6 months of both y'all's career?
What about the blood feud you had, pretty much? What happened?
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
I mean, that's kind of how this tag team got formed. But whatever bar they hit up, I want to hit that up because...
Yeah, but the inverse is also true, so the friend of my enemy is my enemy, so...
I mean, they literally said that yesterday?
So it means they're going to
On
work
Raw.
together,
Yeah.
but as soon as they see a chance, they're going to turn on each other.
I expected that come very soon on the main roster.
That is a main roster turn for sure. But, you know, these guys can't have anything nice right now. As, you know, we did have a champion on the other team. But the match ends with some intrigue as Julia and Jordan, being both people looking at the NXT Championship circuit, decide to brawl into the back, leaving the two legal members and the only members of this match, Roxanne and Io. And you can probably guess where it goes from there because it's freaking Io Sky.
Yeah, a bunch of technical moves happened.
Yes,
And
it ended up being a good 1v1. Basically, for video game purposes, Reversal City.
Yeah, Reversal City until we get the over the moonsault.
For the 1, 2, 3.
So that is 2 times in 2 tag matches that Roxanne's partner has walked out on. Or no.
Roxanne walked out on Cora.
Roxanne rocked out on Cora, never mind.
Yeah.
So actually the inverse of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's just weird.
Yep.
It's just weird.
Yep.
You get what you put out.
Yep.
I
But the squabble helps spoil what we close off the show with. Ava is seen with Stephanie Vaquer in her office, and she's like, listen, you need an opponent for Battleground. I think the 2 obvious options are either Jordan Grace or Julia. So, next week, we are getting a number one contenderships match between those two to see who Stephanie Vaquer's battleground opponent will be.
Who you got?
I got Jordan since Julia's getting called up, and I feel like this is a signal of Stephanie dropping the title to Jordan.
I feel like we might get one more in the trilogy, so I feel like we get Julia v. Stephanie again.
Yeah, this is technically a trilogy because of their Steph becoming double champ 1v1 and then the Fatal 4-Way. I could see it being a trilogy. But we shall see next week, as that is it for this episode of NXT.
And pretty decent show, but yeah, that is it from us here at Disqualified. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell 3 times so you know the match is over. This has been Caleb. That's Trevin.
Oh.
That's Zach. That's Gordon. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time, and
Peace.
Bye!